A big-
Well, thank you for joining me tonight,
Of
Miss
course. Thank you for
Stevevonna
having me.
Evans.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So, first off, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Me, crazy me. I am a mother of four amazing boys, a 17-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a four. He just turned four last week. 4-year-old. I'm on the city council, my city. Just really have a heart for giving back to the people, serving my community. So that's what I do most of the time. It's what I'm doing most of my life is serving the community. But yeah, I don't know. What do you want to know about me?
Well, just where you from?
Oh, I'm from California. So I was born in Los Angeles, moved to Riverside shortly after that, and then I spent the rest of my life in the high desert. So I'm a resident of Adelanto, California, which people always think we say Atlanta, but no, it's Adelanto, California. Next to Victorville, the pit stop on your way to Vegas if you're coming from LA. So yeah, Southern California.
Right. So, as far as what you do in your life, your goals, and where you are with what you plan on doing with your life, where are you right now?
I would say that I'm well on my way to the goals. I have a about 10 years left before I plan on retiring. I'm 37. So I figure by 47, I should be done working, right? My goal should be complete. We should be sitting pretty financially. So yeah, it definitely was a journey to get here, but I am excited to say that I have about 10 years left before I feel like my goals will be complete and ready to go.
All right. So you got four kids,
Mhm.
four amazing boys, as you say.
Three boys.
Three boys
Uh-huh.
and a
I
girl.
had four. I had a daughter that passed away.
Oh,
But I have three living children, three crazy boys.
well, I'm glad that you are raising these amazing boys. You got that little angel looking over you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know that's definitely something that pushes you on every day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, she
Guardian angels
definitely,
are very important.
yeah.
I
Through
got
that
mine.
process is how I found my purpose, and those goals that you talked about was definitely found through that whole ordeal and time of my life. So
See, that's why I ask these questions. See,
find out the real stuff. What is the real stuff? Yeah.
right? I got to find out your motivation, why you do what you do.
Yeah. So, when my daughter passed away, she was 5 weeks old. And so, of course, as they should, CFS stepped in. Everybody wanted to know what happened. They do their regular investigation. Um, and through that, they found that her arm was broken. And so we were like, well, we don't know. But I had been saying since she was born, like, something's wrong with that baby. I had been telling people, but nobody was listening. It's like the typical Black mom, Black female medical story, right? Like in the hospital, I'm like, something's not right, but nobody would listen.
Right.
So when she passed away and they did the x-rays and stuff and they found her arms broken, that forced CFS to actually remove I had two boys at that time. And so we had to go through the whole CFS fight, and it was crazy, and being accused of a bunch of stuff that we didn't do. And by the time the coroner's report came out and just said, oh, it was just SIDS and her arm it's probably was from birth that her arm was broken because there's no surrounding tissue or muscle damage. So this isn't abuse. It was too late. CFS had already started their crazy. And so it was a 2-year fight to get our kids back and, to go through all of that. And so through that, I knew that there was something I was supposed to do, right? Because I was one of those, I wasn't your typical Black person, right? We grew up in a very multicultural neighborhood. You called the police when you had a problem. It wasn't like what we normally hear, like with Black people, what happens here stays here. So I didn't really understand the totality of how corrupt the justice system could be for people until that. And so while it wasn't me going to jail, I got to see how a system can falsely accuse people of something and then the whole family and everybody be affected based on one upset social worker. And so I knew there was a purpose. Didn't really know what it was, but that's actually how you and I met. That's when I got involved in social justice reform and got that job at Color of Change and loved it. But still didn't really know what my purpose was, right? I just knew that I didn't want other families to go through what I went through in any form the criminal justice system, be it CFS, regular, court, jail, police, all of that. And so that's really what got me started on my activist role. But then just like, after a few months of working at Color of Change, which I made great money there, it was wonderful. But I realized like these protests and these events and all the things we put on are wonderful. But if the people that we're protesting to don't care, then there's really no point in us doing this.
Right.
And so, I got the calling, and at first I was talking to our team and I was saying, hey, I think we need to start training people. We need to have seminars and train people to run for office, and we need to figure it out. And it wasn't 2 weeks later that Jesus was like, no, you need to run for office. And not me, because y'all know I'm crazy. I'll be saying stuff. I'm not the ideal politician, if you will, right? What we see on TV. And so I tried not to run. My team told me it was crazy to run. Don't do it. You can't go from being a nobody to an elected official. And we ran with a team of 3 and $4,000, and we won the seat. And the rest is history, or so we'd like to think.
Oh yes, it is. It is still in the making, right?
Right. I get in a lot of trouble, but I'm learning.
You always got to break some eggs and make that omelet.
Facts. So. Well, the thing is, it's different when you're an activist turned politician, right? So I'm in there being an activist, just dealing with in the political arena. So they don't really like that too much, but we're getting stuff done, right? We got a discriminatory housing ordinance removed. Took me a year. I had to fight the council to understand how discriminatory this was and how the ACLU was going to sue the crap out of us if we didn't get it together. And so we got that removed. And then I got racism declared a public health crisis in my city. I think we're one of 9 cities to do that in California. And now we are rounding out. I'm almost ready to present my plan for the city to actually enact how they're going to combat racism being a public health crisis. So I still get to be a little bit of an activist in my political role, but at the end of the day, my goal is to change and reform children and family services. So these are just steps we take on the path to getting that done.
See, that's major. I like that. All of that is, I don't know where to start. That's a beautiful service, because it's a lot of people that can't be as articulate with their situation. So yeah. To have you as an activist is definitely something I feel is needed in this realm. And our last president was quite boisterous. So
if he can do it, anybody can do it, right?
Exactly. So, yeah, we're gonna keep moving with that. So now, officially, what is it that you do? What is your position?
Yeah. So what I like my career, what I do for work.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am what I will retire as recently. During the pandemic, I found that financial services is the way to go, right? So I used to be an event coordinator, which helped me with Color of Change and everything else. But when the pandemic hit in March last year, in the span of 2 weeks, all of my events for the year were canceled. And so I'm like, okay, Jesus, you say you want me to be a political politician, but we don't make a lot of money. So what are we going to do to feed these babies? Right. And literally 2 or 3 days later, I got a call from a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Buffon, who exposed me to the world of financial services and life insurance specifically, and indexed universal life, very specific if we're going to break it down. And what I learned is that this is something that isn't being taught to people that look like us, right? I mean, I went to business school and I took business math classes and all of that, and no one ever told me or showed me or taught me the financial principles that folks that don't look like us are being taught, right? And we're talking about generational wealth and closing the wealth gap and all of that. I truly believe, just in the 1 hour that I had with him, that like this could really benefit my community. So just further, my mind of serving the community and how are we better, and activism and all of that for us, people that look like us, financial services was the way to go. So I jumped in. A year and a half later, I am on my way to getting equity in my company. I am opening offices. I have offices in four different states. And so that is definitely my goal. Like I said, I got 10 years. I'm gonna run hard. I'm putting a lot of work for the next 10 years. And then I'm gonna sit back and collect my checks, because that's another thing that financial services will do for you. So you put in the work now, you get paid forever. It works for me, like trying to be on the beach somewhere, living my best life.
That's what I'm talking about. Get you a nice beach home
I'm
and
saying.
then Airbnb it out or something.
You know it. When I'm not there, I say that all the time. I want houses everywhere, and I'm just going Airbnb them when I'm not there.
Exactly. I wonder what John McCain did with his houses. And he had like 5 before he went. I heard, but that, that's a whole nother topic. And politicians somehow. I heard Bernie Sanders got a beach house, so
I wouldn't be mad at him. Bernie is one that he can have whatever he wants because he's been
yeah,
fighting for us for as long as he's been alive. So if he wants a beach house, if he wants 5 beach houses, go on,
yeah.
Bernie.
Bernie was putting out books though. Bernie was making some good money.
Facts. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's,
But you know what I like about him is his story has never changed. His platform has never changed. But on the flip of that, he's been a politician for how long? And we still have the same problems.
that's the part that hurts. It's like,
we still
how
fight
much
that same
progress
fight.
are we really making? Are we really making? So
Not
that's
enough.
where I'm trying to get to the root of. We got to find out what fits for us. So I'm hoping our conversation can help other people like us find our foothold in this country and this big economy that we have.
For sure.
Yeah. So this universal life, what's the name of your company?
So my personal agency is Liberated Money Movement. So that's what the agency that I've opened. So but I'm under an umbrella, right? I've partnered with the company that gives me access to over 25 different insurance carriers. So PHP stands for People Helping People, is the umbrella company that I work under. But my agencies across the country are Liberated Money Movement.
Liberated Money Movement. Yeah,
it.
That's smooth.
Okay. Hey, like I said, we got to close that wealth gap. And I don't know how many times you've watched Hamilton, but I've watched it probably 30 times. Plus, I have the soundtrack playing in my car. And one of my favorite lines from that play is where he says, "This isn't a moment; it's a movement." Right. And so when we're talking about closing wealth gaps and changing the trajectory of our money and financial services and that kind of stuff, we got to liberate first because we've been in bondage for forever, right? And then it's all about the money movement. So why not?
All right. That's what I love. People helping people is the core business. Liberated Money Movement is you specifically. So
correct. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So as far as what you do, give me a quick breakdown of what you do to help people with their money.
Yeah. So the main thing for me and for PHP as a whole, all of the agents under the PHP umbrella, is number one goal is to educate, right? We want to educate folks. We want to make sure that, you have access to the knowledge, right? So that's our main goal, is to ensure, because you think about it, like, where do we learn about money and finance? We don't, right? Like, they're not teaching it in high school. At most you're getting like a home ec where they teach you how to balance a checkbook, and who needs that knowledge anymore? Because your bank app will do that for you, right? You don't need that. Mm-hmm. In college, I took business classes and nobody ever taught me about infinite banking and the 7702 tax code and none of these things that, the rich and the wealthy are using to their advantage. We want to get mad at Donald Trump for only paying $700 in taxes. Well, his accountant just knows how to utilize tax codes. So, nobody's teaching us these things. Well, once you understand the tax codes, you're like, oh, let me just start a business. Now, don't just go start a business. Let me be clear. Do it right? I don't want your people to be like, she said start a business. Where's my tax code? Right? But once you understand these principles, you're able to use them to your advantage. And just like people talk about us, us, even though it's not really us, abusing the welfare system, the wealthy are utilizing and using, and some would say abusing, the tax codes. So if they're able to use the system to their advantage, why can't we?
I totally agree with that.
Right. So that's our number one thing. It's definitely getting folks the knowledge. The second, of course, is distribution of the financial services. So once I give you the knowledge, which, you're under no obligation to buy, I will sit down with anybody and educate them, because that's what I love to do on these principles. Second thing is going to be, of course, distribution of financial services, right? We know that the average agent, life insurance agent, is a 61-year-old white male. Now, there's nothing wrong with being 61 or being a white male, but they've got one foot in, one foot out there, about to retire. Plus, we know that they're a shrinking majority in America, right? We also know that folks typically buy from folks that look, talk, and act like them. So if the average agent is a 61-year-old white male, who is he marketing to?
More older white males.
Right, not us, right? So in my company, and what PHP is doing for us is it's attracting different kinds of agents, right? We've got folks in every demographic. I can pull up, I should have had it for you. Our demographic, they're so excited. They put out this chart. I think we're like, I want to say, don't quote me, something like 55% Hispanic, 35% African American, all the rest fit in that little bit of slot that's left. We are definitely majority women in our company. In fact, our number one agency builder, she is a 35-year-old African American female. She just crossed over $2 million last year in income. That's income, not what she brought in. That is what she took home. She's 35 and she's Black and she's a female. And so it's all the things. This is typically the good old boys club, whiskey and cigars, right? They're golfing on Fridays. That's who typically deals in the financial services realm. But we're different, right? So that's the second thing. It's education first, distribution of financial services second. And then of course, we're just huge on people increasing their identity. So we know to be an entrepreneur, you have to increase your identity. Right. So we focus on that, because you may get into financial services and be like, you know what, this ain't for me. But what we can guarantee here is that you will increase your identity and you can take that anywhere you want to go, which is why this is huge for me. On top of helping my community with financial services, I know that I want to have a bigger influence when it's time for me to start changing children and family services. And when we want to change those laws nationally, I'll then have that influence nationally to change that, as opposed to just in San Bernardino County or just in the high desert, right? So what do you need to do to increase your influence? It's the people you hang out with, the books you read, and the meetings you attend. Well, where else are you sitting in meetings with millionaires? I get to sit with one twice a week for about an hour and a half and pick his brain. I don't know any millionaires in my circle that let me do that. I don't have millionaires in my circle, right? So you'll get access to that. We read books all the time. I wasn't a huge reader before. I'm still not a huge reader, but I do have Audible. So I audiobook a lot of stuff. And now I'm on a quest. I'm about 40 books away from reading 100 books this year, right? Wow. They say knowledge is, if you want to hide something, put it in a book. So true. Like I have books all over. I do have like hardcover books and then like real books. But I normally listen to it on Audible first. And if I like it, then I'll buy it just so I have a copy. But so those are the three things that we focus on. Again, it's the education, the distribution of financial services, and then increasing folks' identity so they're able to take that knowledge and that power and do it in any avenue of entrepreneurship they want to use it in.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So PHP is the base company. Mm-hmm. So who actually founded this company,
Yeah. Patrick Bet-David is his name. He actually has the #1 YouTube channel for entrepreneurs. It's called Valuetainment. Over 3 million subscribers. He is killing the game. Yeah. Again, super just changing the narrative of the financial services game. He's a Syrian Iranian, so that's already uber diverse in and of itself. And he's only 41, and he owns the fastest growing insurance company in America.
Say his name again.
Patrick Bet-David.
Bet-David.
Yeah, Valuetainment. Definitely, no matter what avenue of entrepreneurship you're looking into, whatever industry you're about, you want to follow that channel. He doesn't, you would think that like, okay, he owns this financial firm, he's going to be talking about that on the channel. I don't think I've ever heard Pat say PHP or anything about financial services specifically on the channel. He's just passionate about entrepreneurship. So he's just training folks on how to be the best entrepreneur, how to set up your company, right? How to structure it. He's got mobsters on. He does mob interviews. I never knew that the mobsters, they've got legit business sense. I used to think they would just like break your hand. Like you got to pay or they're going to break your hand. That's all I knew of mobsters, right? The Sopranos. But no, their business structure is spot on. So like I've spent days sometimes like going down the rabbit hole of interviews that he's done. It's an amazing channel. And not just because he's the CEO of the company that I partnered with. Clearly there's millions of people that watch his channel. There's only about 300 not even 3. I think it's like 150,000 life insurance agents in our company. So it's a whole lot more than just us watching his stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah.
I'll definitely, I'm looking that up next.
Yeah.
That's on the list. I'm checking him out. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, he's good people.
Yeah, this is beautiful. So he's all about entrepreneurship. I know, like you said, you're trying to retire by, I'm not even gonna put it in the next 10 years.
Next 10 years.
Mm-hmm. So that's definitely a good way to go.
Yeah, well, financial services is the second highest paid industry in the world, right? So it goes only second to professional athletes. So it goes like LeBron James, boop, financial services. That's the way it works. And you can Google that. Also, what industry makes the most millionaires? That's something I've Googled because it's like, what are we gonna do? Financial services is number one to produce the most millionaires. Nice. So why not?
So let's make this money. I love that. All right. So how long have you been working with them?
Yeah. So I started last March. So it's only been like a year and a half that I've been in the industry.
A year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as, let's say, usually when it comes to a company, I ask, what's your flagship product? What's the thing you put out there first? If you knock on the door, say, hey, I need whatever it is you do. Mm-hmm. Can you do it for me? I see it's working for you. Yeah. What would you do? I know for this is probably more specific for an individual.
Per person. Yeah, but it's definitely, I mean, if there was one product, like if I could only sell one of our many products, right? It would definitely be the index universal life insurance policies. These policies are beautiful. These are the ones, I mean, on top of being permanent, right? It's going to last for the extent of your life, as long as you're paying your premiums based on however we structure your policy. Some people structure their policy to only pay for 10 years and then never pay again. But if we structure it that way, it's cool. And they still are covered for life. But what these policies, so in addition to being permanent, you grow cash value, right? So in addition to your death benefit, you're going to get anywhere from 0 to 9% interest every year on the money that you put into the policy. You have access to that cash tax-free. Again, according to tax code 7702, you have access to any money that's grown inside of life insurance, grows tax-free, and you have access to it tax-free. So unlike your 401k, 403b, TSP, all of those different plans that your job has you signing up for, those are all going to be taxed, whether they're taxed now or they're taxed later, right? So what do we know about taxes? Are they going up or down in America?
They go down?
Do they? I don't know, right? I've never seen it. We know that they're gonna go up, right? They don't ever go down. Once they're like, oh, they'll pay that, cool, let's just keep doing it. Right. So even on your deferred plans, right, like your 401ks where you're taxed later, now when you're ready to get your money, taxes are going to be the highest they've ever been in your life, and you're probably going to be in a higher tax bracket. So there's no benefit to you for tax later, right? But when you grow your money in these life insurance policies, they're tax-free. Tax-free access to borrow against yourself. This is the infinite banking. I don't know if you've seen like Waka Flocka, Candy. There's been some celebrities that are talking about they'll never bank in banks. They'll never put their money in banks again, right? They're going to put it somewhere else. And they're talking about infinite banking because you can dump money into these policies. You can put cash in, whole lot of cash. Like let's say your premium is $250 a month, but you can afford to put in $500. So you're going to have an additional $250 that's just growing interest. That has nothing to do with your death benefit. So you're getting 0 to 9% interest on this money you're putting in. What is your bank giving you in interest, if I could ask, if you know?
It's 0.05%.
Mine's 0.02 when they say my little 1 cent, and maybe I'm showing you guys how much money I have in my account, but that's about what they send me every month. Here's your interest. Like, thank you for 12 cents a year. I appreciate you. Right. So instead of, they tell us to have 6 to 8 months of savings in your savings account, right? Cool. Why not take that same 6 to 8 months worth of savings and put it into an IUL? You still have access to it. Just like your bank, you have an app. You're gonna type in your app, I need however many dollars. They're gonna put that money right back into your bank account. And it's growing 0 to 9%. So what does 0 to 9% mean? That means, let's say the market goes up 20%. You're only going to get 9% of that, right? Because you're capped at 9%. So that's how the insurance company makes their money, right? So when the market goes up crazy, they're going to cap you at 9, they're going to keep the rest, right? Let's say the market goes up 8%. You're going to get 8. The full 8 goes to you. Now, let's say March 2020 comes around, COVID hits, we lost 38% to the market. Well, I told you 0 to 9%. So once it hits 0, you're safe. You're not going to lose any money like you lose in your 401k. I don't know. Those of you that have 401ks, go look at your rate of return from March 2020 to now. You lost money and you probably have not got back to where you were February 2020 yet. So what this does is it kind of like on a curve, it's like when the market's going up, your money's going up. When the market crashes, your money flatlines. Market going up, your money goes up. Market crashes, you flatline. So on and so forth. So you're guaranteed to never lose, right? So in addition to being permanent, growing cash, giving you tax-free access, these life insurance policies are different than what we're used to. What we're used to hearing is like, when I die, my family gets money. That's one of the biggest, like, I mean, there's bigger other things, but one of the things I hear a lot is, well, I don't care about those people. Why should I leave money for my family to be rich? Okay, first of all, that's a horrible mindset. We're going to fix that on another episode, right? But it's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down. But what happens is new life insurance, right? Just like phones and everything else, they innovate. So new life insurance says if you get a critical, chronic, or terminal illness or injury, but you do not die, you have access to 80% of your death benefit while you're still alive.
80% while you're still alive.
While you're still alive. So let's say that you, so you have a heart attack, right? You're out of work, you don't die. They're going to give you access. Let me get a more specific example. I'll give you 2. One of my mentors, he has a lot of life insurance policies. I think when he's bored, he just buys a new one. I don't know. That's his hobby. Do you? So he got cancer. It's stage 4. So that gave him access to all 80% of his money because it's on a tier, right? They rate it based on your injury, your illness, how much money you can take out. He got the full 80%. He used one of his smaller policies, $100,000 term policy. So this isn't even an IUL, but this IULs work for this too. He took a term policy, took his $80,000. He's still alive. This happened last year. He ain't dying. He's taking his wife on all kinds of vacations. He's invested in another business, but he has access to that money. He's also a vet. So his medical bills were paid for. What this should be used for when in this case is like to help you not have to stress about medical bills, about your rent, about your mortgage, about your bill, all of those things that you still have to deal with that don't go away just because you're sick. Right. So there's those things. But what we're seeing and what's been done with these IULs, the Index Universal Life Insurance policies for forever, is folks like, especially in the Jewish community, what they do is like when a baby is born, the godparents will give them an IUL at birth and only pay it for the first 15 years. So at $100 a month, so that's $15,000, right? No, a little bit more, give or take, right? But at the age of 15, they're done paying. They don't pay on it anymore. And when those kids are 35, 45, 55, 65, they're millionaires. $1.5 million set. And that policy hasn't been paid on since they were 15 years old, right? So like my kids, I'm late to the game, right? I have a 17-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a now 4-year-old. When my 17-year-old turns 18, he won't have that much money because we just started this last year. But when my 4-year-old turns 18, he'll have $250,000 cash that he has access to. And it's not like, we have these plans where you can put money away for your kids into, I can't remember the number, like it's an actual education fund, right? But the problem with those are your money has to go to education. So let's say your kid turns 18 and they're like, I don't want to go to school. Your money's still locked in. Now, of course, there's a way to get it out, but they're going to penalize you to take that money and use it for something else. Doing it this way, you could call it a savings fund for school if you want to. They turn 18, they don't want to go to school. Like my 17-year-old told me last year, he's not going to college. It was a little deep, but then I realized I'm an entrepreneur and none of the stuff I learned in college is helping me now. So that's fine. Do you, boo? I'm not mad. But that money, so let's say my 3-year-old, my 4-year-old, let's use him as an example. He turns 18. I don't want to go to college. Cool. What do you want to do? Because you got $250,000 to do whatever the hell you want to do with. You want to start a business. You want to buy a house. You want to take a gap year and travel the world. Doesn't matter. He's got access tax-free to $250,000 at 18. All because I put away $50 a month.
And you can put more on it.
Yeah, of course. So you can structure the policy. So like, let's say, you want to put more. we would structure your policy at the target premium, which is, so you, it's hard to explain. Look, I should have shared my screen. You have a,
You can pull it up if you want to. Go
you
ahead.
can, so what happens is you can do, it's called, like on the IULs, you have a flexible payment plan, right? So your let's say your target premium is $100. You know that you're gonna be able to pay $100 for however long you want to pay $100 a month. With that, it's gonna say you can pay a minimum of, let's just say, I'm just spitballing numbers here. You could pay a minimum of $50 a month or a maximum of $250, right? And so that gives you room to do what you gotta do. Let's say times get hard. You can't afford the $100. You lost your job, or it's Christmas this month and you don't want to pay $100. You'd rather buy a toy. Whatever. I don't think that's a good idea, but do you? No shade, right? You can lower it that month. Again, in your app, yo, I'm only gonna pay $50 this month. Flip side of that, if you want to pay more, you just deposit more, right? Now there is something, it's called the MEC, it's the Modified Endowment Contract, and that number is set by the IRS. So it's gonna say, you can't put more than this amount of money into the way this policy is structured, or we're going to tax it. And at that point, you might as well have a 401k or whatever other account or policy that's going to be taxed, right? So what these apps do, though, with any company that we're partnered with, what they're going to do is they're going to tell you, yo, you're getting real close to hitting your max, right? Your MEC, your modified endowment contract amount. It's going to turn red. It's going to start alerting you. It's going to do everything it can to prevent you from going over that. But as long as you're under that, to like even a penny, less than whatever that number is, you can dump more. But if you know out the gate that you can spend more a month, then it's always great to structure the policy based on what you know you're going to be able to pay, what you want to pay. And then we can move from there, for sure.
That's beautiful. So, and you have access to your money.
Yeah.
So like the commercial says, it's my money and I want it now. You can pull that right. Are those the same people? Are you involved with them? I'm not even sure who does that commercial, but you know. It's a catchy little phrase.
That is I don't remember who does that. I don't think so.
Okay.
No, you don't really see insurance companies marketing on commercials, right?
Right.
Which is crazy. It's because they don't target people that are real versed in financial services. Don't watch a lot of TV. So it would be pointless for insurance companies to market on TV. Now, if you go to golf tournaments or you go to tennis matches or you watch those, you may see some insurance companies advertising on those kinds of sporting events, but you ain't gonna see those on basketball games, football games, baseball games, none of that. They're not reaching out to us.
Yeah, that kind of hurts my feelings. It's just like, you know, as you said, with the wealth gap between us and other groups is horrendous. I'm just gonna put it that way. Is not anything that's doing us any favors in any way. So just knowing that there's information that can help us, we got to get you out there, let them know.
I'm saying if more of us had this knowledge, we're literally one generation away from closing the wealth gap, right? My 4-year-old, there ain't gonna be no wealth gap for him. Now he's just one Black boy, right? But if more of us did this, it closes the wealth gap, right? I also see that, I'm a kind of side note, I also see this as a way to help fight criminal justice reform, right? Police brutality specifically. Just think if more people that look like us had life insurance policies and then they killing us, who would be fighting the fight to stop police brutality? The life insurance companies, because they'd be tired of paying out them premium or the death benefits.
That's the truth. See, oh man, this is beautiful. We have a tool against the supremacy of others.
We do. We just need the knowledge, you know, and that's what it boils down to all the time. And that's what I say, the knowledge, like books, right? You gotta read, because this is where that stuff is hidden. The knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, dude, it's simple. It's simple to fight them if we're fighting them with the same weapons they have. This is definitely a weapon they have. This is how they're building wealth, keeping their wealth, growing their wealth, passing down their wealth. It's always been through life insurance policies. Like Walt Disney built Disneyland with cash that he pulled from his life insurance policy because no banks would fund him.
I bet they're kicking themselves now.
Our bad. We should have took that one.
Yeah, but since he made it happen, he got the blueprint. We can use that. See, I'm thinking about an amusement park now. Let me see.
Boom.
Let me put that out there. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Game changer.
That can really happen. I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
It's the reason you number one.
Thank you for letting me share, because it's really a passion of mine, right? That I didn't know until a year ago, but I truly feel like this could help us in so many different ways. And you don't have to have crazy big policies, you know? I have clients that have policies for $17 a month. I have clients that have policies for $4,000 a month.
Ooh-wee.
We really can structure it based on your budget, right? And you don't have to start with an IUL. You can start with the term policy or a return of premium policy, which is, you know, if you don't die by the end of the term, they'll give you all the money back that you paid. Did you know that there was insurance? Have you ever heard of insurance and refund in the same sentence?
No, I didn't know that even happened. I thought it was like, oh, it's there if I die, and it's for them. I'm covered. That's all I thought insurance was for, honestly.
There's so many options, and we just don't know because nobody is knocking on our door. I don't knock on doors either, guys, just so we're clear. I am definitely referral based. So everybody let Nu know so that he can let me know that I need to reach out to you, because I don't knock on doors. I don't cold call. I don't do any of those things. So it's word of mouth, right? And so it definitely comes down to more of us hearing it so we can share that knowledge, because those folks that do this, that are using these tools, aren't coming to us to tell us about it.
Well, we got to take care of our community. So this is definitely a tool I think we need to have in our box.
For sure.
So I appreciate you bringing all this good information to the channel. The Real Black Geeks channel is what I'm putting it on. So
perfect. That's definitely my market. When I first started out, I was like, I'm only dealing with Black people. Look, now I take everybody's money, just so we're clear. But I still, my passion and my heart is still making sure that people that look like us know the information, because I didn't know, you know, and it was like, did you know that there's 3 ways that money grows? No, I didn't know that. What are the 3 ways? Oh, I knew about banks. Oh, there's 2 other options. Did we know the 5 homes of money? No, I didn't know. What are those? Help me understand. They teach it here for free. Like, I will teach your people, any of your viewers, for free, this information. If they choose to get a policy, great. If not, they have the knowledge, they can share the knowledge, and maybe the next person will choose to get the policy. Maybe they can't get a policy right now, but I'm telling you, like I tell everybody that I talk to, I'm not donating to your GoFundMe. I'm not coming to the cookout. I'm not coming to the car wash, because I'm giving you the knowledge, and you can insure your people. If you just want a basic policy, a $50,000 policy for pennies on the dollar, I'm saying, like, somebody my age, 37, a $50,000 policy might cost them $25 a month, maybe. And that's even stretching it. It's probably less than that.
And I know we spend that on whatever. You spend that at the drive-through nowadays. Facts,
right? So there's no reason why we're not at least insuring funerals. If you want to just get insured for whatever you think your funeral will cost, just do that. It's all about, you know, protecting the people you love. Do you want to you want to leave people with all your bills and all your crap and all? No.
Definitely
Why not?
I don't want my bills. I don't want anybody else to have them. That's not the way it's supposed to work.
And that's it. And the people are like, well, I'm just not going to pay it because he died. Who cares? Okay, so then you lose your house. Now what? I have an RLP on my house. It's only $150,000 policy for the 30 years. If I die, my kids will get money to cover my house. So they will forever have a house. And it's in my trust. Like, they can't play with that money. That money is house money. If I don't die at the end of 30 years, I get all the money I paid back. I think I pay $42 a month for that policy.
Yeah, that's the movies right there.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer. We just don't know. We just don't know. So again, you know, the information is free. I wouldn't mind sitting down and explaining the 3 ways money grows, the 5 homes of money to folks, showing them exactly how a policy could work for them based on their budget. That's what I do on the daily. Again, if they sign up and they get a policy, great. If not, they have the knowledge now, and when they're ready, I'm still here. So it is what it is.
Wow. So let's say somebody looking at this video really like what they heard. They say, hey, not only do I want to get myself a policy, I want to do this too. How would you help them get in this business?
Yeah, the beauty of being partnered with PHP, let me tell you, it definitely makes it easier, right? So we just reach out, definitely. And then the way it works is we do have a platform fee, right? It's $199, but what that gives you access to is our corporate office. So that takes care of your payroll, your compliance, your licensing, all of that jazz. It also gives you all of your training. So we have like 17 videos. If you're a video learner, we have those online in your back office. You can do those on your own time. But we also, with my agency, we do training 6 days a week, morning and afternoon on 5 of those days, right? On Saturdays, we only do mornings because then I'm done with my people for the rest of the weekend. But Monday through Friday, it's 2 trainings a day. You can plug in whenever you're available. In addition to that, what I recommend everybody go through, which is also included in that $199 platform fee, is something we call CFT Academy, Certified Field Training Academy. And what that'll do, it's a 6-week now. We just updated to 6 weeks. It used to be 5 weeks. It's a 6-week, it's every Monday course that literally will take you from knowing nothing about financial services to running your agency and opening offices wherever you want to open them. Like I said, I have 6 weeks, 6 Mondays. It's about 3 hours a day. So what is that? 6 times 3, 6, 12, 18 hours. You've got all the training you need to run your agency. We teach you how to find your clients without doing the cold calling and being spammy and all of that crazy stuff. We teach you what our products are, what life insurance is. We teach all the things, anything you can think of. Everything that I know is taught in this 6-week course. I'm sad I didn't even know about this 6-week course or get moved into and partnered with an agency that was doing that until 6 months in. So I had 6 months of like, good luck, figure it out. And now I have this system. And so the system is amazing. We do have to have a background check. We do background checks because you do have to be state licensed. You're dealing with socials and people's credit cards and that kind of stuff. So we can't just let everybody do it. So you do have to pass the background. But that's pretty much it, get licensed and you're good to go. And then we do everything we teach you, we keep teaching you until you feel comfortable to do it yourself.
And for what you're telling me, the policies are very flexible. So it's something for everybody.
Facts. Yeah. I was actually so funny. I was on an appointment this morning with a potential client, and she was going through the same thing I was telling you guys I would go through, the 3 ways to win a girl, 5 homes of money. And she was like, dude, I know some baby mamas that could use this. And I was like, what? Wait, what happened? And she was, we were talking about the term policies and between term and RLP term, the 2 different policies. She's like, dude, like some of they baby daddies be like in the street. So if they got policies on them and then they died, their kids would still be set. And I'm like, yeah, that works. Like, so whatever you want to do, as long as you have a vested interest in the person, you can get life insurance on them. Now, I wouldn't recommend you try to kill them because they ain't gonna pay you out. But there's policies for everybody and for every situation for sure. Beautiful.
So, I mean, you made this interview real easy. It's flowing great. I just love how you tied everything back to the common people, so everybody really can see how this can work for you. So yeah, even if you're just dipping and dabbling a little bit a month, a lot of people like to go to the casinos, they like to go to Vegas, they like to buy lotto tickets, that sort of thing. This definitely seems like a better investment. You got guaranteed money coming back, whatever you want.
Yeah, it's safe. And that's something we go over with the 3 homes, or the 3 ways money grows, is showing you the difference between fixed, variable, and indexed ways to grow your money. And we discuss the good, the bad, the ugly, and all of them, because there's good, bad, and ugly in life insurance also, right? So we definitely go over all of that. Again, it's just education. I don't want anybody to ever come back to me and say, I don't know how my policy works, or I don't understand this. I spend probably a good 3 hours with my clients before I'll even allow them to purchase a policy from me, because I want to make sure that you understand. And it's spread out. Like, don't get scared. Like, she's gonna have me sitting there for 3 hours. No, we normally do small chunks, because I want you to fully understand. What I was finding when I first got involved, and then people were like, oh, I have life insurance. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. What does it cover? And they're like, I don't know. My clients won't ever say
That's me. That's me. I'm in that boat. I don't know what my insurance covers technically. I know I got it. If anything happens, it's covered. To what extent, I'm not sure.
And do you have it through work?
Look into it now.
Do you have it through work, or is it your personal?
I've got personal and I have it through work. The work,
okay.
I don't depend on my job like that. So, you know, it's.
Well, you're one step ahead, because that's what we hear all the time too. Oh, I have it through work. Okay, what does it cover? My mom is a prime example of that. Oh, Stevevonna, no, I have it through work. Okay, what does it cover? Oh, I don't know. Well, then like probably a couple weeks later, because I don't force anybody, not even my own family. Just know I'm not paying for your stuff, because I tried to tell you. And so she, a couple weeks later, she says, Stevevonna, no, you got to give me a policy. Why? Somebody got sick at work. It wasn't COVID, but he like got injured. Something happened at work. But because the doctor didn't correlate it with a work-related injury, when he passed away from that, since he didn't pass away at work from it, he passed away at home, they wouldn't pay him out. So those work policies, those group policies, while I'm not saying don't take it if your job has it, they typically aren't going to, there's going to be some stipulations there that aren't beneficial. Like mine through the city is, when I finally looked it up, because I didn't know, I was just like you, like, I don't know. They said they gave me life insurance on. It's only $10,000 and it doesn't cover accidents.
I'm so 37. Old age or what? You got to die from natural causes? And
like, I'm 37. How else am I going to die? Like, I'm not going to die. Okay, whatever. So you got really, definitely, if you have, if you have, like you said, you had a personal policy that you pay for yourself, that's going to definitely be better for you. Even if it's not great, it's going to be better than what you have from work. Because one, when you leave your job, you lose your life insurance. So if you're paying into that, you're paying in, you leave your job. If the carrier will let you take it with you, it's going to up your premium. It's not going to be whatever you're paying at work. But what happens most of the time is you lose your coverage. Well, let's say you're at your job for 20 years. Now you're 20 years older and you don't have coverage. And to get it is going to cost you it's going to cost you more. I don't know how old you are when you started. Maybe you're only 30. I don't know, whatever. It's going to cost you more if you can qualify, because you may have ailments now that disqualify you from life insurance.
Pre-existing conditions.
Exactly.
We've been hearing a lot about that. So
that they pull your medical records too in life insurance. So, you know, it's definitely something. Again, I'm open, and I don't have a problem. If you want, we can sit down. I can look at your policies. If you've got a great policy, I'm gonna tell you that too, because my job, my for me, speaking for myself, is always just making sure you're good. I get paid great money to do what I do, which is probably why I don't mind doing it for free so often, right? When I get a policy, I get paid handsomely. So if I don't, it's fine. So if you have a policy and it's legit, I'm gonna tell you, like, nah, you're good. Like, stick with that. Don't not pay your premiums. But if not, I'm also going to tell you, like, here's how we can change this, or maybe we can roll this over, or maybe you can do this or that. I'm going to tell you what needs to be done with what you have, because at the end of the day, it's all about what's best for you. It's unethical. And I think I can actually lose my license if I pull you out of a policy just to get the what is it called when I get paid?
Commission.
Thank you. What is it called when I get?
Don't even know what it's called. That's how I know you good.
I really, what is it called? It would be unethical. And I really think I could lose my license if I pull you out of this policy just to get the commissions to put you in basically the same policy. Makes no sense. Or something that's not as good or whatever. So if it doesn't benefit you, I can't ethically move you from what you have. But I definitely want to make sure that my people have the best of what they can have. Because some of us got into some policies with some companies that weren't the best, or that had some different logics on how to do things. I'll never trash another insurance company ever. You'll never hear me trash it, because as long as you're covered with something, it's better than nothing, right? But there's better products. You know, some people will tell you that it's best to buy term and invest the rest. Well, invest the rest in what? They don't tell you. So now you have a term policy, and then the term policy expires at the end of the term. And if you haven't invested if you haven't picked investments wisely, you just out of luck. Other people will tell you invest everything you have into IULs. Every penny you have extra invested in IUL. Well, that's another extreme. I don't think that you should invest all of your money anywhere, right? I think that you should diversify your money. And that's the best way to do it. So there's different ways to do it, but I'm open to sit down with anybody again and just go over what they have and then show them what other options are.
All right.
A long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
Well, so let's wrap it up here because it's going pretty good. I can't ask any more questions beyond what you explained. You done a great job. I'm over here kicking myself. I got my benefits in hand from my last job over here.
Get it.
I'm like, I really need to look at this now. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about this. And a lot of my people from my old job, my current job, they in here too. So I want them to check out these benefits. And of course, what I want you to do is give yourself a shameless plug. How can these people find you if they want to say, hey, I like the way she's talking. She's talking to me right now. How can they find Stevevonna Evans and get in with the mix?
Just like that. All social media, well, not all of them, because I'm not active on a lot of them. But Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, I'm just Stevevonna Evans. I think on Instagram, I'm just Stevevonna. I don't even have to put my last name on Instagram.
I didn't know your last name, so I got your email. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really use that. Steve, you don't know if you'll remember Stevevonna. Evans is easy to forget. Stevevonna is just hard to remember. But yeah, so Stevevonna Evans on any platform, you can message me for sure. You can email me at stevonnaevans@gmail.com if you want. Those are the best ways really to get to me is through social media. So just DM me on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll definitely set up an appointment time. It's definitely an individual basis is how we structure everything. So we can learn your goals, find out what your financial goals are, and then work from there.
All right. This is beautiful. I love the way everything's been presented. You're very eloquent with your explanations.
Thank you.
So
I didn't say no bad words. I did good.
Yeah, especially on a Friday too. You know, I didn't expect all that to be so on point. I'm over here stuttering over my words a little bit, but you right on. I love it.
Hey,
so
well, you're passionate about what you do, and I'm super passionate about serving the community, and this is just another avenue to do that. So it works.
That's what this is really about here. You see that red, black, and green. I know you know what that's about. So I'm over here on the Garvey list. If you haven't already, put yourself on the Garvey list. Let them know, not only on Instagram, but also on the Garvey list. I hope you are available there too, to let the people click and find you. And
yeah, sure. I'm down. I'm not on yet, but I'll definitely be on by the end of the night.
Well, thank you very much. So we're gonna leave it right there.
Awesome.
And thank you very much. We're gonna stop the recording. So